And I think everyone's joining now. So,
Yo, what up, Boog?
What's up? What's up?
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini mates, I'm fucking with them. Hype beasts, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Cool. All right. First, I just want to say thanks for inviting me to take part in Fan Fest. That was very cool. It was cool to get to chop it up with some of the guys in the community. And I think you guys should definitely do more of that. Thank you for the swag box as well. So my first question, maybe like a month or so back, you guys put up the Hellfire Club guards on Hasbro Pulse. They were up for like on a Saturday for maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. And then a lot of those orders got canceled. Any idea what happened there? And are we going to get another shot at those somewhere soon?
I'm not sure what happened in terms of canceling pre-orders. That seems a little, I don't think that is very common for Pulse exclusives, but yeah, we can always look to bring back some of those Pulse exclusives if the demand is there for another production run. I do think we actually went back and opened up the pre-order for Hellfire Trooper like multiple times and it sold out again. I think it was just a lot of the heat from the Comic-Con or the what turned into the PulseCon exclusive Hellfire Club box set. But yeah, there's been calls for Silk too. Some people couldn't get her. She was up for a certain amount of time. So yeah, maybe we can bring them back at some point in the future, but no promises really.
How about Omega Sentinel from the Tri-Sentinel or the, what are you guys labeling it as now? The correct name is the, what'd you call it?
Beta Sentinel.
Beta Sentinel. So Omega Sentinel, I got a few questions in regards to her hair color and her skin tone. And it looks like maybe you guys based it off of maybe one particular artist's look there. But I saw quite a few people asking about whether we get another head sculpt with the proper colored hair and skin tone there. Was there some error there, or did you guys intentionally do that?
Well, that head was an afterthought. We were focusing on the House of X wave, the look of the characters from that run, as you guys know, because that's what the whole wave was built around. So the red head was the red face was the primary variation of it, and then we thought it'd be fun to throw in an extra piece just for fans who have who've been following the characters for a long time. And when we googled up the character, that was just one of the images that popped up first, and that's the one we went with. We have no plans now to do another version of it. Maybe at some point in the future you might get one, but no plans at this point in time. And
this figure is not out yet, but I know we're going to get Dormammu in that Bring on the Bad Guys wave. There was a couple of inquiries about his head sculpt as well, where it didn't look like the flame was kind of lit. It was sort of like a different color than the classic look. Is what we saw going to be the final version of that, or will that be different when it comes to production? I guess that wave is almost about to drop though, so I guess it is what it is, huh?
The faces was never intended to be lit. It was kind of an orange opaque face with the stripes on it, and then the translucent fire for the hair kind of around his head and neck. And then he has that black crown thing. So the face was never intended to be translucent.
Not translucent, but I think that the original renders or the original images that you guys showed was very close or similar to his classic look there, where the flame looked as if it was lit, like it was a lighter sort of yellowish color and not really red. I think that was the issue.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, and I've seen that too. I think it goes back to, I always prefer to reveal images of like the photographs like you see that we shoot with either final production or FEP, so it's very close. That reveal was back during PulseCon in September. And I think teams were still learning how to best leverage renders for reveals. So, we can do a better job at speaking and maybe like putting a disclaimer on the slide that's like, this is not final production, this is a render. But yeah, like what we showed in the render was a little in the early stage, but I think the team kind of honed it in on what they wanted. And what you saw at the last, whenever that was, however many weeks ago, when we did the official pre-order for the wave, that's going to be how the figure is going to ship.
Gotcha. Looks like you guys finally committed to a price increase. So are we going to see $22.99, $24.99 across the board, and maybe $26.99 for like some specialty figures like the Thor that you unveiled. Is that the new Marvel Legends price here in the United States?
So in the US, yeah, I think you've seen some accounts go up to that. I think it's $22.99 SRP. The SRP is just that, and the retailers do with it what they will. For a while, you know, we had a $19.99 SRP, and you would see it higher at various places, and it's just, I think, part of the business overall, that if you start to see that happening, then it'll kind of be at that level, and for the base Build-A-Figure waves, and then other type of items accordingly when you've got your 2-packs and stuff like that. So just changes to the business, and I don't think it's only restricted to Marvel. It's kind of a overall US marketing kind of pricing strategy, and yeah, we'll just keep trying to churn out the good figures that make it worth your while there.
Okay. Toys R Us. If Toys R Us were to resurface or reemerge, would that be good for you guys, or you guys think you're fine in terms of everything else, all the other retailers, Target, Walmart? What I'm asking is, would it matter for you guys at this particular point? I know you can't really get into specific metrics and and sales and stuff like that, but would Toys R Us be a good thing right now?
I saw the first question on your list there, and I was going to hassle you. It's like, come on, man, you know, you can't ask, like, we can't answer this. I miss Toys R Us as a consumer, because I would take our son there and we could hang out for an hour and kill, when he was like much younger, and we could kill time. So as a consumer, I very much miss Toys R Us. From a business standpoint, you know, we're just focused on the retailers that are available to us today, and we're doing our best with that.
Sort of in the same vein with the price increase, it looks like you guys are including more heads, hands here and there. Is that part of the increase, the fact that you guys may be able to include additional heads and hands in these single carded figures?
I think we always do what we can when it comes to accessories. If there's a time where maybe a character doesn't have a lot of accessories, maybe it's because it's a humongous Build-A-Figure wave, like
Right.
Sugar Man, right?
Mhm.
And then I kind of chuckle at the reactions to every single Spider-Man figure we do. It's like, well, why doesn't this one have the 19 different kinds of hands? And it's
Right.
like, well, the team like picks and chooses a little bit. I don't know, Dwight, do you have any thoughts on how we choose accessories?
Really what I'm trying to get at is that this is a question that I've asked before too, but I think a lot of people want to see accessory packs from you guys. We want to see additional weapons, hands, heads, effects that may be packed alone, separate from a figure or something like that. I think that would do well. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't have to be something that is at retail. Maybe that could be something rolled into a Haslab project, but I get a lot of questions about that. So I'm just putting that out there to you guys, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to the first part, you know, so we put as much as we can into every figure, and quite often we've developed more than actually makes at the end of the day, depending on cost and what we can afford. That's why sometimes you get leftover bits and pieces laying around the office that give us an opportunity to bring a character back in the future with variant heads and things of that nature. The most recent one that I can think of is the She-Hulk we did, or Hulk. We did the gray version for the F4 wave, and then we sculpted an alternate head at that time, and now when we brought her back in green, we were able to put that other alternate head in there. So we always try to put in as much as we possibly can, and at the end of the day, sometimes we can't afford things and they get pulled out, which leads to the possibility of accessory packs. We've talked about those around our team before, and we've pitched them up in different ways, and we haven't got any traction today, but we are getting new avenues for getting those things out to you now, and we're having a lot of success with things like the Pulse, which is fantastic. So, you know, we have the flight stands, you know, we've been doing some different things that, you know, we normally wouldn't put at retail through them. So if we continue to have success with those types of things through the Pulse, that might give us the opportunity to, you know, repitch or look at things like accessory packs for, I don't know, themes, you know, like an Avengers accessory pack or an X-Men pack or villains pack, something like that. Because there are a lot of relics and bits and pieces and stuff that, you know, would be cool to throw out there, but sometimes it's hard to find the right place to put them into a wave, right?
Look, if you want to do a video again, like with the troop builders, and source some info for us, I think the challenge with accessory packs is, when you say accessories, that can mean a lot of different things, and everyone's mind just goes to what they want. So we really need to hone in not only on theme of like Avengers versus X-Men, but it's like, what are we actually talking about? Is it really a potpourri of all these types of things? Is it very specific where it's like heads, or it's weapons, or it's energy effects? I think we have pitched it, and we would just need to latch on to like a little bit more of a on what to focus on, because accessories is a very broad classification, I think.
Understood. So the fans pretty much demanded that you guys give Cannonball his legs. You promised that that would happen in 2021, and we got the reveal of the Cannonball and Domino 2-pack. Did you guys do this based on the fact that there was that older Hasbro release of the Cannonball and Domino 2-pack? Was this something that was planned way in advance, or was this something that you guys decided that you would throw into the mix because it was so heavily sought after, so many people were asking?
So I think, did we confirm that? Yeah, I think we said this in San Diego in 19 when I was like joking about Cannonball, but it was like, yeah, we had the plan to do legs or the blast, but we had to pick one in the Wendigo wave. So it's not like, so the legs had always existed, really. They just didn't make it in. So we just kind of kept that character in our back pocket, and, you know, Dan and I are you know, follow along with all the social media requests, and, you know, that was an ongoing theme. So yeah, he just slotted in nicely into the spot we had. Whether we set out to recreate that 2-pack is yet to be determined. We're kind of teasing that. I just thought it was funny that there was that old 2-pack, so we kind of threw that up on the screen there. But yeah, listening to the fans, and it's something that made sense. We just had to pick one to go with at first, and so now you're just getting the flip side of it.
The other question with that is the new Cannonball that's going to be released, will he be able to be detached, the upper torso from the lower torso, and you be able to swap parts with the original Cannonball that we got?
Yeah, it was originally designed to be either or back in the day. So barring anything weird, which I don't think should happen, we haven't got to actually get in hand samples of those yet. But the theory is that you should be able to pull him apart and use that upper torso on the old flame column if you have that.
All right, that's cool. What's the process for you guys deciding which figures are going to get the Pinless technology? I've asked this once before, but you know, since you guys introduced it, you've introduced this on quite a few different characters, and I want to know, is this something that you guys want to move toward being a standard for all figures across the board at some point?
The Pinless is something that we like. It seems to be something that the fans are enjoying, and it's been reviewed so far mostly positive that I've seen online, and, you know, when people are in the forums chatting, I don't think I can call out any major or any really negatives to it at all that I've seen. You know, you guys are more in the communities than we are, so if you see that stuff, let us know. But it's been really positive, and I know we would like to put it wherever we can. There are some characters that we're developing that it can't be used on, even brand new characters, whether that's a character with a weird shaped arm or something of that nature. You know, it does require more space inside the cavities of the forearm and bicep to be done, and if we're not willing to accept what that does to the shape of an arm, then we're not using it. Or if there's a character that has pins through its, you know, arms and legs for whatever reason, let's say we're doing a robot guy, right? We can still use the old pinned technology to kind of recreate the character as best as possible. So what we're always try to do is whatever is the right look for any particular costume, that's our leading goal, is to, you know, get that out to you guys as best as possible. And whether that's pinless or pinned, that's how we kind of choose. There are costing limitations. There are hundreds and hundreds of existing parts in our tooling library that we're not just going to stop using. You know, if we have something that's already tooled up and it doesn't make sense at this point in time to tool new arms just to make pinless, then you'll be seeing the old style arms and legs too. So, you know, nothing's ever as clean in Legends, because Legends is a massive line that has thousands of interchangeable parts over 15 plus years of, you know, development. So it's really hard to just say, you know, we're making a clean cut and we're going to all of this new technology going forward. And who knows what we'll discover in another year or two from now, right? And there might be something even more amazing that we want to shift to. So
the figures that do have the pinless joints have been some of the best figures I think you guys have put out. So Just putting that out there. Is there a plan to do Haslab every year? Is that going to be the goal moving forward, to do a Haslab project every year? And I want to know, when exactly should we expect the Sentinel to start shipping?
So Sentinel will begin shipping during the month of August. Now,
Okay.
I don't know at what point, right, random person X is going to receive their 1 to however many Sentinels they ordered, but it'll begin around August. So that's the Sentinel question. And then in terms of, is there a Haslab every year? It's hard to say. Like we're through 2022 planning, and then we'll soon start 2023. So we don't really have it kind of mapped out, but I think just generally speaking and working very closely with the Pulse team, Pulse is growing. You've seen it. We've got these FanFest events. We've got more exclusives. We got more brands getting in on Haslab. There was a Hero Quest board game, which was very successful. So if fans keep embracing the Haslab platform, I think there's a lot of things are in play for that. And continue working on that mysterious project we teased.
Yes, that was going to be my next question. Will we get a definitive answer as to what that next project is right before the Sentinel starts to ship, or sometime after?
I think we can say, I think we can say before. You know, it's a couple of months time. It's April now. That takes us through August, so it's coming. Dan has warned everyone to start saving their money, so that's good advice to heed.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's my next question. Is there any plan for a payment plan on some of these larger Haslab items down the line? I've seen that a lot. A lot of people saying, I would have gotten one if I could, pay a little bit each month or something like that. Don't get me wrong. I know that might be a freaking headache for you guys over there as far as payments coming in staggered or what have you. But I think that would be a good opportunity for more people to get on board.
Yeah, that's a question for the Pulse team. That's a little out of our arena because they manage the actual e-com, side of things. So I'm sure there's certain complexities that go into that.
People can Venmo us if you want, just tell them to pay us. It's fine.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's fine.
I guess this question would be for the Pulse team too, as far as like you guys expanding and opening the UK brand of Hasbro Pulse. Is there still places in the UK that you guys aren't shipping, or what's the limits on that? I've heard some people saying that it's good, but you still don't ship to their particular region. Do you have any insight on that, or is that for the Pulse team as well?
That's to them as well. I know it was a big undertaking to get the Pulse running in the UK. It's like a whole nother team. And there was some feedback about Northern Ireland, I believe it was, not being included. So I'm sorry for those fans in Northern Ireland, but I feel like the UK Pulse team is doing their best to try to be, as inclusive as they can be.
You guys have done a couple of specific X-Men themed waves based on comic book stories like AOA and the House and Powers wave. You're going to be getting a second AOA wave. You guys confirmed that. Are there any plans for a second House and Powers wave? And are there any plans for any specific Avengers waves based on comic stories other than the MCU stuff? Maybe like House of M, or maybe revisiting some of the characters from that original Ultimates story, or even the more modern Ultimates with Blue Marvel as the as the team leader, I guess he was. But yeah, any plans for any more specific comic-based waves for the Avengers, basically, because you guys definitely been leaning into to X-Men.
We've been discussing it. We've had some ideas, and some of them have fallen to the cutting room floor recently. But we're definitely looking at it, and we've definitely been talking about it. I don't think there's anything in the current line plan today that is particularly focused as those that you described earlier are. But we are looking to find some fun new ways of getting more of those coming. Just nothing that we can confirm right now.
All right, quick question for each of you. Obscure character that you'd like to see in figure form.
Pretty Boy.
Okay. I'd like to see that team complete. That's a good one. But what about you, Ryan? Obscure character.
Obscure? I don't know. She's not obscure, but I would like to do an armor figure from the X-Men with
Oh,
the
I would
armor,
love that.
obviously.
Yeah, that would be
How
dope.
that would work, I don't really know. That's a challenge to Dwight and our engineer to figure out.
Maybe her armor would be the build-a-figure, and it would just snap on around the figure. But that would be really dope. What about you, Dan?
Well, first of all, I do want a blue Marvel too, so we hear you on that. Not promising anything, but you know, I hear you. Obscure, not really obscure, but I would like an Isaiah Bradley figure. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
That'd be super relevant now, you know,
Mhm.
and also just an awesome character.
No
overall,
spoilers,
so-
Dan. People aren't caught up.
Oh, dang, my bad, my B.
Another quick one. Favorite Iron Man armor that each of you would like to see done? Me personally, I would love you guys to go back and revisit the Extremis armor. Now that you seem to have a knack for making Iron Man armors and making them properly sized and look really good. But I'd like to see Extremis. What about you, Dwight?
The 80th anniversary one is my favorite armor. Outside of that, maybe take a crack at House of M just because it's so insane. But that Toyz figure is still amazing.
I was just talking about that in a video that'll be up later this week. But yeah, that is a very good figure still to this day. Ryan?
Not the biggest Iron Man connoisseur, to be honest with you, but we've done so many. The Silver Centurion was awesome this past year. I think Extremis is a good example too. That was done kind of in the early days of Hasbro Marvel Legends. I think we could get another crack at that at some point.
I think Modular is my favorite. I know he just got out, but I would love to do like a redo where he's like really yellow and red, sort of like from the cartoon, sort of like from the game a little bit more. You know what I mean? I still love that figure that we just put out, but my bias is I love that Modular one. That's like my first Iron Man that I love.
With the Capcom sized blaster that's like 3 times as big as his.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe you guys will revisit that armor and give us War Machine what that looked like back in the days with the Toy Biz version. Ursa Major, I love that wave. I love pretty much every figure in that wave. It's a solid wave. How far out did you guys plan Ursa Major? Because I was campaigning for that figure like 4 months ago. How far out was he planned?
This is Boog trying to get credit right here. Look at him. Look at him. He's like, yo.
4 months. Really, that's weird. It's been 4 months. It's the fastest figure we've ever gone from coming up with an idea to having it tooled. But yeah, 4 months.
No, I mentioned it quite a bit before 4 months ago. But yeah, at 4 months ago, I said that was my number one wanted like larger figure in 2021 though, for sure. What are you guys going to do about these leaks that are coming out? Hasbro's got a lot of money. You guys could hire a hitman at this particular point. What's going on with the leaks? How you guys feeling about
Do you know anyone who can help us?
No, man, don't
great.
lie, man. You've been putting out stuff too, Boog. I see you too, bro.
Hey, listen,
I see you too.
I'm just doing my journalist one too. If I hear some information, I'm just putting it out. I'm not the one leaking the information.
We're going to release Hitmonkey to the wild.
Basically.
I'll send
Ultimate
my
Rider,
buddies.
a Hawkeye Sky Cycle. That's been a big ask. You know, we've talked about this before. I want to see you guys continue with the Ultimate Riders line and maybe explore some bigger and better things. But there is plans to continue with Ultimate Riders, though, right? You guys do have other things that you want to release under that imprint, right?
I think maybe in the future, but we've really been focusing this year, I think, on deluxe items. You've got your Thanos, Maestro, MODOK. Last year was the ALA Apocalypse, but yeah. And before we get out of here, I did put the Hawkeye, the Toy Biz Hawkeye, in my display because certain people out there have claimed to have inside information that was going to be coming out later this year. So we have a couple of months left. We better start working on it now, I guess, Dwight. If it's people saying it's
less
coming
than
out,
4
right?
months, Dwight.
Let's do this.
All right, so just a couple real quick things. The Vault Guardsman, he's an army builder for that wave, but he's not 2 per case, right? One of the Iron Man figures is the 2 per case figure, right?
Modular is going to be the 2 per case for that, which I think is the right way to go. And yeah, maybe like one super quick one because we got to wrap up for Danielle here.
Some things that people were requesting: Bleeding Edge Iron Man as another armor, an updated sort of like street clothes Luke Cage. And yeah, just to continue on with a lot of villains, people want to see Mephisto finally. You guys had already went over all of that stuff as far as trying to give us villains a little bit at a time and not kind of drop everything at once. The last thing was Riri Williams. I think you guys did a great job on that. People already asking for her Mark III armor before this armor even comes out, but that's a thing. Yeah, I think that was it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Good seeing you, man.
Thank you.
right,
I look
good
forward
seeing
to
you
your
guys.
accessory pack video too coming.
Yes, definitely. I'll figure it out and try to make some tiers and get it organized. We'll see what happens.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Peace out,
See you next
Boog.
time.
See you, man.
More dirt, must I do? Plus my crew, must at you. And you like what's that? Ooh, what's that clue? Why bring the noise or what? Destroy these butts. These niggas toys or what? Bring all the pretty niggas thinking they're gritty. One shit.